You are reading these words right now. Your eyes are scanning shapes on a screen, your brain is converting those shapes into sounds, and those sounds are becoming meaning. It is happening so fast you cannot feel it working. But for most of human history, none of this existed. No words, no sentences, no names for anything. And the real question is not how we survived without language. The real question is what we were actually doing inside our heads. Because here is the thing. The absence of language does not mean the absence of thought. It does not mean silence. Something was happening in those minds, something rich enough to build shelters, hunt large animals in coordinated groups, grieve the dead, and create art. Something was running long before the first word was ever spoken, and whatever that something was, it is still running in you right now. The timeline matters here. Modern humans have existed for roughly 300,000 years, but the earliest clear evidence of complex symbolic language, the kind built on grammar and shared abstract meaning, does not appear until somewhere between 50,000 and 100,000 years ago. That leaves an enormous stretch of human existence, hundreds of thousands of years, during which your ancestors were fully human in body and brain, but operating without the tool you use to think almost every waking moment. Paleoanthropologist Ian Tattersall of the American Museum of Natural History has argued that the human brain was likely capable of language long before language actually emerged. The hardware existed, the software had not been written yet, which raises something genuinely strange. If the capacity was there and the need was there, why did it take so long? The answer most researchers now favor involves not invention but accumulation. Language did not appear as a single breakthrough. It grew slowly from a collection of older systems, gesture, vocalization, facial expression, shared attention, and something researchers call theory of mind, the ability to model what another creature is thinking. Each piece evolved separately. Each piece served a purpose before language existed. Together, they eventually crossed a threshold. But before that threshold, what did communication actually look like? Michael Corballis, a cognitive psychologist at the University of Auckland, has spent years arguing that gesture came first. His work suggests that the ancestors of modern humans were primarily gestural communicators, using hands, arms, and body orientation to convey meaning long before the vocal apparatus was adapted for the complexity of modern speech. If you have ever tried to explain directions to someone who does not speak your language, you already know this system. It is ancient. It is still in you. Watch yourself the next time you talk on the phone and notice that your hands are moving even though no one can see them. Alongside gesture came vocalization, not words exactly, but tonal calls, variations in pitch, rhythm, and intensity that carried emotional and situational information. Think of the sounds you make when you stub your toe, or the different quality of a laugh that means something is funny versus a laugh that signals nervousness. These were the precursors, rich, meaningful, highly contextual, but not yet symbolic, not yet language. What this system could not do was describe things that were not present. If a predator was visible right now, a warning call worked perfectly. But if you wanted to say the lions were near the watering hole yesterday morning and they might return, you had almost no way to do it. This is what linguists call displacement, the ability to refer to things removed from the present moment in time or space. It is one of the key features that separates human language from every other animal communication system. And before language, your ancestors almost certainly lacked it. What they had instead was something arguably more powerful in the immediate term: extraordinary sensitivity to the present. Robin Dunbar, the British anthropologist famous for his work on social brain theory, has argued that early human cognition was deeply embedded in the immediate social and physical environment in a way that modern humans can barely access. Your ancestors were reading the world in real time, tracking subtle shifts in wind, animal behavior, the body language of group members, the weight of clouds. Not through words, but through a kind of sustained, embodied attention that most modern humans have almost entirely lost. This is not mysticism, it is neuroscience. The default mode network in your brain, the system that activates when you are not focused on an external task, is largely occupied by language-based internal narrative, the voice in your head that narrates your life, plans your future, and replays your past. Before language existed, that mental space was not empty, but it was not filled with words. Researchers studying pre-linguistic infants give a partial window into this. Babies in the first year of life demonstrate sophisticated social cognition, object permanence, causal reasoning, and emotional attunement, all without a single word. So, what did thought feel like before language? Nobody can answer that with certainty. But the closest analogy available to modern humans may be the experience of deep flow states, moments of complete absorption in a physical task where the interverbal narrator goes quiet and the body and environment communicate directly. Athletes describe it, surgeons describe it, experienced musicians describe it. The voice stops, and something older takes over. Something that does not need words to know exactly what to do next. Here is where it gets counterintuitive. Researchers like Lara Boroditsky at the University of California, San Diego, have demonstrated that language does not just describe thought, it actively shapes it. Different languages carve up color, time, space, and causality in genuinely different ways, and speakers of those languages perceive and remember the world differently as a result. If language shapes thought this profoundly in modern humans, then its absence in early humans was not just a communication gap. It was a fundamentally different cognitive world. Your ancestors were not thinking in incomplete sentences. They were not thinking in sentences at all. The architecture of their inner experience was built from something else entirely. What we do know is that the transition, whenever it fully happened, changed everything. Once you can name something, you can think about it when it is not in front of you. Once you can share a name, you can build collective knowledge that outlasts any individual life. Once you can string names together into propositions, you can negotiate, plan, deceive, promise, warn, and imagine futures that do not yet exist. Every civilization you have ever heard of runs on this. Every thought you have had today has been shaped by it. But the pre-linguistic mind did not simply disappear when language arrived. It is still in there. It runs beneath the words. It is the part of you that knows a room feels wrong before you can explain why, the part that reads a face in under a millisecond, the part that wakes you up at 3 in the morning with a solution to a problem you could not solve while thinking about it. It is older than any word in any language. It has been keeping you alive a lot longer than your vocabulary has. So next time you reach for a word and it is not there, next time you stand in front of something beautiful and feel that strange, full silence before the description arrives, you are touching it. That is not a failure of language. That is what your mind was doing for the first 200,000 years of its existence, and it has not forgotten how.